Hi, my name is Nikki Bell, and I will be presenting on enhancing communication skills in groups, which is Chapter 7, Part 2. So there are four main ways to enhance communication. The first one is seating arrangements, personal appearance, communication environment, and lastly, nonverbal cues. And so I'll be discussing those four main ways to enhance communication. So the first way to enhance your communication is the way that you're seated in your everyday life. Where you sit in your group can affect who you're most likely to talk to, who you're likely to make eye contact with, the amount of influence you have, chances of emerging as a leader, chances of not emerging as a leader, and the amount of stress that you have. And that'll be demonstrated through the picture that you can see on the PowerPoint. Each person has a different role based off of where they sit. So you can see the guy that's standing up, he is known as the leadership seating, or the leadership seat. And so he's typically the one that is the boss, or the one that everyone is looking up to, so the leader of the group. The two on my right hand side in the pink shirt and the blonde lady are typically more influential in the group because they have more people to make eye contact with, because it's two people sitting on that side versus the three on the other side, so they have more ability to make eye contact with. On the side with the three people, the guy nearest to you in the black jacket is actually the most least influential in the group and is the least talkative, because he is the farthest away from what we call the leadership seat, which is where the guy is standing up. As far as the amount of stress goes, it's all about personal space and whether you are invading that personal space. So the people with the three have a little bit higher amounts of stress than the side with the two people on it. The other thing that affects your seating arrangement is gender. Gender affects it because girls or women tend to lean closer into one another and sit closer to one another than men do. Men have greater bubbles, is what society calls them, and they have a greater need for their personal space. The second one I'm going to talk about is your personal appearance. Some researchers claim that within seconds after meeting another person, you make an initial judgment about whether to continue to communicate with him or her or leave the conversation. That's pretty quick. It's just within a few seconds, you already know whether you want to continue a conversation with one another. So your personal appearance is a really big issue that you need to make a good first impression. There's many things that affect your different appearance or affect your initial judgment about a person, and that's the way someone dresses, their hairstyles, their weight, their height, the amount of makeup they have, their tone of voice, whether they have a really high-pitched voice or a really low-pitched voice, will determine whether you can handle a conversation with that person. So obviously with this, to enhance your communication, you have to make a good first impression on the person that you're trying to communicate with. The next one is your communication environment. And so your first top picture is three people. They're in a quiet library, no one's disturbing them, and so they're able to fully work with each other and improve their group efficiency. Where the bottom picture is a very crowded library, you see drink bottles and food, and so it decreases your group's ability to work together because you have outside distractions. And so the environment that you're in either makes or breaks your communication levels. So whenever you're in a group, you always want to be able to have a nice, quiet, clean place where you can have enough areas so that you can really enhance your communication and group work. The last one are nonverbal cues. So there's what are nonverbal cues? And so your posture, movement, and gestures, your eye contact, different facial expressions, vocal cues, your personal space, and seating arrangement, which is what we just talked about. So nonverbal cues have a major effect on communication. They have a huge effect on how leaders are perceived in groups and teams. They help signal when we want to speak or change the subject. So if I lean forward and I'm smiling and I'm nodding, it kind of means like, okay, I'm kind of done with this conversation, let's move on. Nonverbal cues also provide clues to whether someone is lying or not. Granted, it's not a very effective way to tell whether someone is lying, but there are cues. So pauses in their speaking, or longer pauses than normal, and there's a bunch of different ones that can go into a person lying. So in the picture you have two people greeting differently, and so with nonverbal cues, different nonverbal cues go with the culture that they're in. Where something is perfectly acceptable in the United States, it's considered rude in a different country, or the greetings that we have versus the greetings that other countries have. So in conclusion, there's a bunch of different ways that there are ways to enhance your communication. Here's a couple of references that I have if you want to look and get farther into it. Thanks.